Please keep off your phones and stay seated during the duration of our speaker. And let's welcome Desi tonight for our speaker.
Alright, so I'm Desi. I'm definitely an alcoholic. My sobriety date is June 26, 2016. And I don't say that to show off. I say that because I want to show people my age that you can do it too. Because there's not a lot of us our age that actually, we get to 90 days and we're like, fuck it, we're still young, right? My home group is Big Blue in the 52. It's in San Pedro, California. That's where I got sober. And I cuss. Pre-warning, we're all adults, right? And I have outside issues as a part of my story. But I've come to the realization that my outside issues I used alcoholically, which is why I chose AA instead of NA, because it all started with alcohol. So my story begins, my mom, when she had me, I was born on alcohol and meth. My skin was green, my skin was green, my veins were purple. I had to be put underneath the sun lamp. My grandma, being Calvary Baptist, right, she literally thought I was the Antichrist. Because I was born with a mohawk. I'm gonna die with a mohawk, right? In my household, I grew up with Nazi signs. My family every day reminded me how I'm a mistake. I wasn't supposed to be born, and that this was an accident, and that they didn't want me because I'm half Asian. So already at home, I'm feeling unwanted, unloved. And at a young age, I learned, if you're not beating the fuck out of me, you don't love me. So I'm dealing with that at home. I start to go to school, right? In kindergarten, the 5th graders in my school put a nail in my head for being a mutt. I repeat, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, where it's all about race and politics. So now I'm dealing with it at school. Now I believe even more, if you're not beating me, you don't love me. Those kids that put a nail in my head, they did it because they care, because I'm an accident, because I wasn't meant to be born. My older sister, she still to this day does not know, but her friends sexually abused me. I remember I was in my grandmother's garage, and they tied me to the bed frame that was in my grandmother's garage, cut my clothes off, and that's the first time I was raped, at the age of 6. So, I'm already, I have a lot of PTSD at a young age. So already, I don't trust any of you people. Stay away from me, and then come to find out at an older age, I'm schizophrenic too. When I was young, it used to be self-harm towards myself. But because of the PTSD, it turned into, I'm gonna fuck you up before you fuck me up. So I got introduced to the alcohol and the pills, right? Dangerous mix. I was 8 years old. And off and running, I'm drinking 40s every day. Popping pills every day. Because I don't care. I wasn't meant to be here. Who the fuck cares? At the age of 11 was my first suicide attempt. I popped 90 Xanax and I drank a whole bottle of vodka. So at the age of 11, I was already done. I was like, there's no hope for me. You know what I mean? You know that question that the teachers ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? My goals for my life was to work at Hooters. I was like, I can't be a cop. I ain't that smart. I can't be a firefighter. I'm a little tiny person. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it. Hopefully I get boobs and work at Hooters. That was my goal. I had no high achievements for myself because I didn't think I was going to get anywhere. So the first suicide attempt put me in a coma for 3 months. I woke up. I didn't know where I was at. I was yelling for my older sister. I fucking ripped all the cords out, you know. I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. You know, I fucking took me 2 weeks to walk home. I walk home and my grandma's like, we can't fucking deal with you. Like, you're crazy. You know. So she sends me out to mom, who left me when I was a baby. Like, I had never met her. All I knew is that she was white and she's the one that put the Nazi signs in my grandma's garage. So I'm super fearful, right? I fly all the way to Colorado because I had no choice. I get there, she picks me up. I didn't even know who I was looking for. She walked up to me, right? My grandma, being Calvary Baptist, like, she found out I smoked cigarettes and she beat the fuck out of me. So my mom walks up to me and she's like, hey, do you smoke cigarettes? And I didn't say shit. I was like, this is a setup. You know what I mean? I was like, and then my older sister went with me, you know, because, like, me and her, like this. We still live together. It's crazy. Not together in the same vicinity, though. Because my whole life, like, she was always the one that was there, you know. The solution that I needed at the time was there. I needed to feel numb when I was getting beat every day, when I was getting raped every day. And unfortunately, the only solution my older sister could come up was the alcohol and drugs. So my sister looks at me and she goes, it's okay. Mom's cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, I smoke cigarettes. You know? And my mom started buying them for me. And then we get to my mom's house and she pulls me aside and she goes, hey, do you drink? And I was like, well, my sister said that she's cool. I was like, yeah, I drink. And she was like, you can only drink at home. So here I have my mother enabling me. I remember the first time I got drunk with my mother, she fucking walked me around with all of her friends. She was like, this is my drunk daughter. Like it was something to be proud of, you know? So I'm living with my mom for 2 years. And I came to the realization, you know, she doesn't care, like, because I would be outside of Safeway until 1 in the morning, and she would straight up say, I forgot about you. I forgot you even existed. And out in Colorado, the coldest weather I was in was negative 30 degrees, and I had to sleep outside of a bus stop because I did not know how to get home, and my mother was too drunk to answer the phone. So at the age of 13, I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. You know, I was like, I can do this on my own. You know, if these people don't care about me, why am I here? So I go out on my own, you know, and when I was 13, I was dating a 23-year-old because he had his own place. You know, he paid bills. I had a legal job at a hookah bar. The place shut down because they found out I worked there. Fun stuff, right? But yeah, you know, I was like, okay, this person, you know, can't take care of me. I was smoking weed. I got introduced to heroin because I can't take pills anymore. Because if I take pills, I'll die. You know, I was like, okay, let's switch to heroin. So I meet this heroin connect who does taxidermy. And I was like, okay, I don't have cash. I'll bring this guy some fucking animals. Like, my fucking paranoid schizophrenia, it was so bad. I was taking all that hurt and pain that I had from all those people that hurt me, took it out on the animals. I remember my neighbor's Dalmatian tried to bite me, and then fucking 2 weeks later that dog was missing. Because I stomped its neck out. Because I'm still too small to fucking defend myself against people. And I did that to a lot of animals. Because I can't hurt you. You're bigger than me. You know? So here I am finding a way to hurt things, but not people, because at the same time I was raised Calvary Baptist. Do not hurt someone, no matter how bad they hurt you. So yeah, and it's funny because, like, at my work, I tell all the guests, I'm like, you know what, I may be sober longer than you, but I'm still just as fucking crazy. Still, that's guaranteed. You know what I mean? So yeah, I started doing that for the heroin connect, you know, and then finally my mom says, I can't handle you. I can't fucking handle you. You're crazy. Right? So then, ironically, my grandma calls in the same time. I'm 18 years old at this time. I was a straight A student somehow. Like, I was fucking principal's aide. That was one of my classes. And like, while I was principal's aide, I was forging signatures. I was like, his mom needs to come pick him up, and then we would go get high. You know, I was doing the most. Like, I was selling pills. I started dealing because I had to help this guy pay rent. You know. And then when I moved to Colorado is when I decided I'm not gonna get bullied anymore. So out in Colorado, I started bashing my own head, and I started punching metal things. And because I needed it to be able to hit you back, and because I needed to not feel it when you punched me in the face, so that I could hit back. I remember I was so worried, you know, about getting bullied again that I was squatting like 230. I was looking like a buff Butch Dyke, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck yeah, don't mess with me. I'm big now. You know? And it's all fear. You know, my whole life has been fear. Like, what are you going to think about me if you find out that I killed animals to get drugs? You know? And that's why I speak on these things today, because we can't live in fear today. Like, I'm literally scared to leave my front door to go to work, but I do it every day. Like, because if we live in fear, there's no growth. You know? So I have to put my big girl britches on and get the fuck out my house sometimes. So I go back to my grandmother's, right? And I meet this guy, right? Super cute. You know, got the blue eyes. I was like, I melted. And he was like, you shouldn't do heroin. Here's some meth. And I'm like, I'm that addict. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I've literally huffed embalming fluid. Like, I didn't dip it on a weed stick. I fucking straight huffed it. That was the worst experience of my life. I remember I was walking down the street, regular sized curb. I fucking crawled in the fetal position and cried because I thought I was going to die if I stepped off of it. But at least I was numb. You know what I mean? I've done every single drug there is to man except for cocaine, because my friends were like, meth lasts longer. Why are you going to go for cocaine? And me being the addict I am, I'm like, I don't want no 5-second high. Like, come on, bring it. Fuck it. You got to give it to me. I was like your junkie dumpster. It didn't matter how messed up I was. I wanted more. Because here I am, suicidal. Nobody cares about me. And I just want to feel numb. And then I turned into the person that I hate the most. Because I ended up homeless on Skid Row in LA. And every single person that I met out there, within 5 minutes, I was trying to decide if I was going to rob you, fuck you up, or keep you as my friend because I could use you. And at the same time, you know, I fucking got knocked up with blue-eyed guy. So here I am, homeless, fucking pregnant. You know what I mean? And this guy fucking beat me every day. All of my bones in my body except for my spine and my hip are broken because of him. I have a stab wound on my rib because of him. He always made sure that my legs were broken so I couldn't run. And in my head, because of my childhood, I was like, he's beating me because he loves me. The harder you beat me, the more I think you love me. So I find out I'm pregnant. The first domestic violence that gets called in, DCS gets involved. I'm like, take this baby. I do not want this kid growing up like I grew up. And that was the hardest decision in my life that I could ever make. Because my whole life, all I wanted was a fucking family that I could care for. So we played it out because my family wanted me to get her back, but at the same time, I'm getting beat every day. You know what I mean? My family didn't give a fuck about me. Why are they going to give a fuck about this kid? They're not going to treat this kid any different. So I played it out for a whole year. And what killed me the worst was the last time I saw her was the first time she said mom. And it killed me. Like, you would think that that would be my reason to get sober. It wasn't. It just made me fucking use harder. Like, when I got into treatment, I was 65 pounds. I was having seizures every time I stood up. I was fucking scratching myself until I bled. I was pulling out hair strands because, you know, I was pulling out chunks of hair because then it would bleed, because then I would feel something. That's how miserable my life was. You know, like, I didn't care. Literally, when I went to treatment, the judge was like, you can do 15 years upstate, or you can do 1 year treatment. You know what I said? I was like, give me the 15 years, bro. I was like, I get 3 meals, I get a cot, I'm homeless right now, plus I can still get high. I did not want to feel, guys. That was not a thing, because I knew the second I started feeling everything that I had repressed, my suicide attempts were going to get worse. The whole time I was homeless, I had my friend Alex have to cut me off of a noose. You know what I mean? I continued to bash my head because then I could feel something. You know? And if I did you grimy and you found out and you didn't punch me, best believe I was hurting myself because I deserved it. And that's my self-sabotage. You know what I mean? Like, my self-sabotage, I will piss somebody off to try and get them to punch me in the face. Doesn't work today. I've tried. You know? So here I am, this crazy person, 65 pounds, going into treatment, just wanting to die. You know, I had no goals, I had no hope for myself. And when I finally got the courage to tell my baby daddy that I'm leaving him, I had my best friend standing right next to me. And you know what happens when me and him turn to leave after I tell my baby that? All I hear is a thwack, right? My baby daddy put a pickaxe in my best friend's head 12 times. And my shock, right? This happened on April Fool's Day. My shock, I was fucking like this. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is a fucking joke. Like, this is an April Fool's joke. My friend's gonna wake up any second. And then I was like, I was so high. I was like, I'm high and drunk. I was like, I'm in a psychosis. Like, this shit didn't happen. You know? Because my schizophrenic plus psychosis, like, I can't tell what the fuck is happening. You know? So, and then I tried to run, even not knowing if this was real or not. And then he tackles me. He holds me. I fucking literally bit a chunk out of his arm. He would not let go of me, and he said, I will not kill you if you help me bury this and clean up the mess. And the only thing that I was thinking in my head was, I need to see my daughter one day. If there is any reason that I don't try and have a suicide attempt, it's because I need to see my daughter one day. If there's one reason I stay sober, it's because I want her to see me sober doing good instead of being that piece of shit asshole on Skid Row. You know, and something I say all the time, as long as you have that one reason to stay sober, as long as you have that one reason and not give up, then you're doing pretty good. So I consent to it because I need to see my daughter one day. I didn't give a fuck about myself. I just want my family, you know. So I consent to it. And like, my PTSD is so bad, I have night terrors every night. I work overnight shifts for a reason. I'm lucky if I get 2 to 4 hours of sleep a day. And that's because my night terrors. because literally I'll wake up and my friend's hanging from a noose because we had to hang him on the tree before we could bury him. Right? And then after we bury him, my baby daddy ties me up with barbed wire. And I said, I thought you weren't going to kill me. He said, I'm not. But why are you making me do this? I love you. So for 3 months, he stuck a needle in my neck, reminded me, why are you making me do this? I love you. I couldn't go anywhere. I was tied up with the barbed wire. You know, whole 3 months, I didn't cry. You know what I said? I said, I'm a piece of shit. I deserve this. I was like, I'm not meant to be here, so why not? And he used to tell me all the time, if I can't have you, no one can. Best believe it. Someone tells me that today, I'm like, no, I'm good. Get the fuck away from me. You know? But the whole time I was like, I deserve this. Anything bad, like, somebody gives me a compliment and I don't even know how to say thank you because I think you're lying to me. Especially if someone says they love me, I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. You don't know me. I'm crazy. If only you knew what goes on up here, you know. The reason why I do so good in sobriety is because I fucking do what my voices tell me not to do. They're like, go fuck him up. I'm like, no, fuck you, demon, get away from me. I call my schizophrenia demons because they are horrible. And I have to fight them every day. You know. So I get to this treatment center, right? After all of this trauma. Like, while I was homeless, I found my friend Julie in 2 weeks, deceased and rotting. You know what I did? I took his SSI money and I fucking bounced. That's that piece of shit that I was. I didn't even fucking call anybody to say, hey, you know, your friend's dead. I let somebody else find him. And fucking the money I got had blood on it, so I had to wash it. You know, I had to fucking make it look like it was paint. And I used it. I used all of it. I used the whole 900. And there's the whole point in making amends is sometimes there's some amends that you can't make because those people are gone. But that's why you have stuff called living amends. You know, you do better and you do what you can for other people while you're living, because you can't give amends to someone who's dead. So I get to the treatment center. I fucking literally locked myself in the closet for a whole month. I was like, I don't know you. I don't trust you. Don't talk to me. Stay the fuck away from me. You know? You know how they lured me out? They fucking bribed me with a pack of cigarettes. They were like, here, you need cigarettes? You know? I was like, fuck, I need a cigarette. Why am I here? Because when I told the judge to give me 15 years, he said, fuck you. Because the judges knew me. I've been in and out of jail. My arrest record is fucking that sick. Today I have it expunged. But yeah, so they lured me out with the pack of cigarettes. I was like, fuck. I was like, I can't get high. I don't know how to get home. I was like, fuck it, give me the cigarettes. Are they free? You know, because when I went to treatment, I came in a paper jumpsuit and shower shoes. Because while I was in jail for 3 years, because I didn't say anything against my baby daddy until he confessed everything that happened, and then they dismissed me, I gained weight. You know? And another thing that's been an issue for me is weight. Because if you're not going to love me for me, I might as well be pretty. Then maybe you'll love me. You know? So when they lured me out with the pack of cigarettes, they were like, do you want food? I was like, no. And they were like, you've only been snacking on things this whole month. I was like, I don't want to eat. I was like, I'm already fucking fat enough already. What do you want from me? You know what they said? They said, we just want to see you stay sober. They said, we give a fuck about you. And I was like, I don't even know you. Like, how can you care about somebody you don't even know? And they're like, because we used to be you. And I was like, I doubt that. You know? So, they gave me clothes. You know? They gave me clothes. They showed me how to fucking make my bed. They showed me how to do laundry. They showed me how to cook. Stuff that my family never did. You know, my grandmother used to make me eat cat food and dog food because she was working all the time, and she was like, here, eat this. You know? So here these people are being nice to me, and fucking, I was like, what do you want? Like, nothing in this life is free. That's something I learned when I was homeless. And they were like, we just want you to succeed. You have so much potential. I was like, what potential, bro? Like, what do I got? I was like, what do I got other than fucking a crazy mind and some scars, you know? And they were like, it's that crazy mind and scars that's going to help you help others. I didn't understand it at the time. But when they were being so nice to me and they said they didn't want anything back, I cried for 2 weeks. That's when all the feelings hit. I was like, my whole entire life, you know, I've been fucking treated like shit. Nobody cared about me, you know? Everybody wanted something in return, you know? And here these people are who don't want anything from me other than to do better. Like, my goals in life was to either commit suicide or catch a life sentence. I had no other options. You know, they showed me how to fill out a resume. I fucking never had a job before. I was like, I'd go into my interviews, I'd be like, what's up? You know? And they're like, maybe that's a little unprofessional, Desi. Right? So they showed me how to, like, dress, because I'm a sweatpants kid. They showed me how to dress for my interviews. It was a 6-month program. I stayed there for a year because when I did this 6-month program, I went to go visit my grandma and I saw some guy jump off the scaffolding. And I turned right the fuck around and I was like, I ain't ready. Put me the fuck back in. So I did residential treatment for a whole year. You have to know what you need. If the place that you're at is not a long enough time frame, be humble enough to say, hey, I need more. Don't let your pride and your ego be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good after 30 days, fuck it, you know? Because, like, if your pride and your ego is what takes you out, thinking that you got this, us as alcoholics, we never got this shit. If you say, I got this, or I don't care, that's when you're in your danger zone. Because that's the whole old behavior. I don't need anybody, I got this. I fucking, you know, fuck it, I don't care. You know, those are the danger zones. And then when I was in treatment, I had a lovely visit from homicide detectives because somebody had got shot underneath the bridge that I stayed at. And I knew the suspect arrested. And you know what they said to me? They said, this homicide was cleaned up too well and you're the only fucking person who's done it and gotten away with it before. I was like, of course. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? Fuck that. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I pulled the girl card. So they're like, we're gonna find the gun and the things that were stolen. And I was thinking in my head, the fuck you are? I'm just gonna stay in treatment and stay sober. Literally the whole time I was at that treatment center, I was there because I did not want to fucking go for a homicide, because I'm finally getting my life in order. I finally got a job. I'm finally fucking thinking for myself. And I'm finally fucking making something of myself. And I'm starting to have that hope, like, hey, I can do something. You know? And then homicide detectives want to fucking come. It was great. So I stay sober. Every time they see me, they see I'm sober. You know, I pulled the girl card again at the court date. That was fun. They were like, this is your friend, right? I was like, kinda. And they're like, what's his name? And I gave them the completely wrong name because I actually didn't know his name. I only knew his street name. And then they were like, how do you know him? I was like, well, you know, I was a fucking meth head, and you know, I used to give him dope for sex. That's it. You know, and they're like, and then like my street gang mentality, they're like, how come this person and this person and this person are saying you helped him? You don't say that in court. Don't ever say that in court. They were trying to see if I would get mad. And I was like, well, she hates me because, you know, while she was in jail, I hooked up with her boyfriend. And I was like, you know, tweak her stuff. And then they dismissed me. And then I was like, okay, there's not going to be a third time. Third time's the charm, right? Fuck that. And then, so I'm sober, you know, I'm doing things good, and then I meet another guy, right? He's got 5 years, I got 1. And we ended up getting a place together, and then it's when we got the place together that he would tell me things like, you're too fat. I don't want kids with you because you're so fucking fat. Which triggered my childhood. I stayed with that man for 3 years because I didn't think I was going to get anything better. Because, like, at least he's not hitting me. You know, he started smoking weed, I stayed with him. He started drinking, I stayed with him. Because I wasn't going to get anything better. Because he's not physically abusing me. And then that's when I learned about mental and emotional abuse. You know, the only job I've ever worked in is treatment. So, of course, I'd be like, working, and like they're doing group, and then I hear a whisper of emotional mental abuse. I'm like, I'm like, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm cleaning right here while you're doing group, because I want to still learn some shit, because I don't got anything, you know. And then I learned about that, and then one day I just didn't come home. I did a John Doe note. I was like, I can't put up with this. I was like, I deserve better. And that's the first time in my life I said, I deserve better. And then I'm out here in Arizona. I moved out here because I was like, I don't want to be in California. I literally have people from my gang continuing to get my phone number. I've had to change it 3 times. And they're like, hey, we got a pound of meth for you, $350. What's up? Put in some work. You're still in the gang. And I'm like, I almost had 5 years sober. Like, why don't give up? Give up, please. Stop calling me. You know? Like, I do not want to live that life anymore because it's not worth it. I deserve better. You know, I've worked this whole time on bettering myself, on fixing my fucking thought frame. Like, I'm meant to be here for a reason. Like, I literally work in treatment, 1, because they deal with my crazy. I'm highly accepted in treatment. But 2, it's because, you know, I could help people, you know? And whether it's me doing your laundry while you're fucking detoxing, you know, or me convincing you, please stay. You need this. Like, you deserve this. You know what I mean? At least I'm doing something. And I find that's what makes my heart beat, you know. And the steps were insane. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them were tough. Like, my sponsor is a hard believer on no mind-altering substances, so I couldn't even drink coffee my first year. I was dying. You know, no sugar, no coffee, no medication. And I remind you, I'm schizophrenic. Do you know how hard it was to tame that? I would be sitting in the meeting and I'd be like, what? I'm like, they're fucking staring, bro. You know, today I'm standing up here and I'm like, I don't care. Stare all you want. You know, if you're going to judge me, judge me. Like, I am who I am. And I accept that today. But the amends part for me was horrific because my sponsor was like, when they're like, who do you need to make amends to? Who do you have resentment towards? I had 4 people. My sponsor was like, why don't you have more? I was like, because I already got even with them, so it's not it's not really a resentment anymore. So when I made my amends to all the people I hurt, you know what she said? Let them get even. I'm pretty sure I got punched in the face 15 times. And she was like, I want to challenge you, don't swing back. I have a humongous temper. I was fresh in recovery. She said, don't swing back. I was like, why not? I was like, I'm allowed to defend myself. And she was like, one, because she was like, just watch. And then like those people that did punch me in the face really hard, they came back and they were like, you really want this, don't you? I was like, I do. And they were like, we could tell you didn't punch us. Like, that was the most humbling experience for me, not punching back. You know? And the step work that I did, it takes exactly 1 year and 1 month to do. It's not you do step 1, 2, and 3 all together. It's 30 assignments, 50 audios. It's great. Out of the Alcoholics Anonymous book. I'm pretty sure, like literally, I'm pretty sure I have it down pat. I get a sponsee. I'm like, hey, read the first 3 letters on page 112. That's your first assignment. First 3 letters on page 112 is read this book. And I mean, I found a spiritual way by working the steps. You know, I did selfish prayers throughout my entire addiction. I was like, just let me die, God. I was like, just let me die. You know what I mean? Today, when I pray, I'm like, please help this person because they need it more than me. I don't pray about myself anymore because, like, He's got me. I don't have to worry about myself. And I learned all this through the steps. You know, and I'm honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you and say everything's a pink cloud, because it's not. I was 1 year sober and I found out my baby daddy got away with, you know, not murder, manslaughter. And he was out of jail when I was 1 year sober. Best believe I drank a gallon of bleach. I was like, this guy ain't catching me, I'm gonna kill myself. You know, I let that fear control me, and then there comes another suicide attempt. I let the fear control me, and I want to use drugs. It's just point blank. I always tell people, you know, it's when you're comfortable, that's when you know you're not growing. You need to get uncomfortable in order to have growth. Because if you're stagnant in this program, you're going to fall backwards. And, I mean, I'm up here today to help somebody. I don't know who. Hopefully somebody relates to my crazy ass. You know, but, like, even if you have to take it one second a day, take it that 1 second. And I can guarantee, because, like, I was so suicidal, you know what I mean? And I have hope for myself today. I have a car. I have a house. I have a dog. I have not hit once. I'm very proud of that. I love my dog. You know what I mean? My dog is my kid. Like, I have a camera on him at all times. I'm like, what are you doing? I talk to him through it. It's all bad. You know what I mean? I have met that better person. You know, I left California because I told him, you know what, I deserve better, and I got better. And if I had lived in fear, I would still be with that person in California. You know what I mean? Like, I had the courage to move state, and I found that better. And it's like a blessing in disguise. I went crazy for a little bit, and he still supported me. Through it all, I don't know how. You know, I have coworkers. I broke hip, but I don't care. I have coworkers in here today to support me, you know? They call me out on my shit, though. They're like, you're being crazy. Stop talking to yourself. You know, and it's the greatest thing ever because my whole life everyone's just said, you know, get the fuck away from me, you're crazy. Or get the fuck away from me, you're drama, because you're crazy. You know, I have people that call me out on my shit today. I have fucking people by my side, like, I have people I can call when I'm fucking feeling depressed or my schizophrenia is acting up, and I call them and I'm like, hey, I want to slit my throat, can you just talk to me for 5 minutes? That's what these meetings are for. You go to meetings to find your support group. To find someone who you can relate to through a story or through what they share in a meeting. So you could be like, hey, let me click up with them so that you don't feel judged because you guys relate. Like when you're looking for a sponsor, find something that they have that you want and find someone that you can relate with. Because if you can't relate with something, you're not going to get all your shit out there. You're going to hold shit back because you think, hey, you're going to judge me. You know? Like, I have so much to be grateful for. And, yeah, every morning, I'm like, okay, I'm grateful for my airheaded dog. You know, like I said earlier, as long as you have that one reason to stay sober, you will stay sober. And as long as you have those people that you can call when you're down, then you will not, hopefully they could talk you out of the relapse. You know, find people who are going to be real with you. You know, say you're fucking dumb, what are you doing? You know, get the fuck over here right now. I'm gonna fucking smack you in your face and want to get high. You know, I love that. You know, there's people who care about me today. There's people, like, I'm not scared to ask for help at work. I'm like, hey, I don't understand this. I don't know if you're working or not, but I need help. You know, I have people outside of work. I need help. You know. Have the humbleness to be able to admit when you need the help, and have the humble and the gratefulness to go because you know you deserve something better in life. And that's all I got. 10 minutes, right?
Let's give another big hand for our speaker, Desi.